If it is indeed a tunnel, there's a top, there's a bottom, and there are sidewalls ridiculously easy. No, really, we are not oscillating. That casing is just going, dropping, it's just dropping. Yes, the Legina brothers had just uncovered a massive underground structure on Oak Island, and it could change history forever. Digging deeper into the legendary money pit, the team has hit something that defies all expectations. But what exactly have they found beneath the island's surface, and could it finally reveal the truth behind the treasure? Tune in, because what happens next is the confirmation of an ancient, highly advanced hidden civilization. A dig that shook the ground. The dig site is buzzing with energy as massive steel caissons are pushed further into the ground. The excavation has now reached nearly 100 feet, a depth that previous searches have marked as highly suspicious. Old records hint at hidden structures below, and the team is determined to find out what's really buried there. Recent groundwater tests have also pointed to traces of gold and silver beneath this level, adding to the growing anticipation. But history has taught them that hope alone doesn't guarantee success. Before we go any further, what they just uncovered is far more shocking than anyone expected, and this discovery might not be the only thing that changes everything. A massive claw-like tool is being used to pull up whatever sits in the depths, and the first signs of something interesting are already appearing. Wooden beams, old, weathered, and oddly cut, have started surfacing, sparking fresh debates among the team. Could this be part of an ancient support structure, a collapsed tunnel, or something even bigger? Every new piece of evidence suggests that they're digging in the right spot, but the deeper they go, the stranger things get. At 110 feet, things take an even more exciting turn. More pieces of wood emerge, but this time, they're different. Some show markings, Roman numerals etched into their surface, the kind used in old construction methods. The team is stunned. If these markings are legitimate, it means someone long ago was working underground with a level of organization that suggests purpose. But what were they building? And more importantly, what were they hiding? The massive steel tube keeps sinking deeper into the ground, forcing its way through layers of earth and stone. At 160 feet, tension is unbearable. The team knows this depth has led to incredible discoveries in the past. Some believe they are about to reach a hidden chamber, possibly a treasure vault sealed in thick concrete. But then, the entire operation comes to a halt. The steel casing has hit something solid. Everything stops. The machinery strains, groaning under the pressure, struggling to push past the unknown barrier. The crew exchanges nervous glances. Has the drill reached the vault? Is this a buried stone structure, or has Oak Island itself placed yet another obstacle in their path? Silence hangs in the air as they watch the steel cylinder fight against whatever lies below. Each second stretches longer than the last, the weight of anticipation pressing down on them. The caisson shakes violently, sending vibrations through the ground. The team braces for the worst. Then, without warning, a deep, eerie rumble spreads through the site. The ground trembles beneath their feet. Dust rises in thick clouds. Something is shifting far below, something massive. Before they can react, the earth beneath them starts to collapse. A gaping void swallows everything in its path. Equipment tilts dangerously close to the edge. Loose soil and rock crash down into the growing chasm. The men scramble back, their hearts pounding. They've triggered a full-scale collapse. But what does it mean? Is this just another sinkhole, or have they uncovered something even more significant? The presence of such a huge underground space suggests something has been hidden here for centuries, but it also means the site is unstable. Any wrong move could make the entire area cave in completely. Panic spreads. The risk is enormous. If they continue, they could lose not just their equipment, but also years of effort and possibly one true chance at uncovering something incredible. The air is thick with dust and uncertainty. They stand on the edge, staring into the darkness below. If they step forward, they may be stepping into history. If they retreat, they might never get this chance again. The moment of decision has arrived. Do they dare push forward into the unknown, Or is this a warning to turn back before it's too late? As the ground crumbles and danger rises, they realize to make sense of this discovery, they must first understand the island's long and troubled past. The island that won't give up its past. Oak Island. Just the name gets people talking. This tiny patch of land in Nova Scotia has been poked, dug up, flooded, and obsessed over for more than 200 years. Why? Because someone, at some point, left just enough behind to keep treasure hunters coming back. A pit that refills with water, strange carvings, coconut fibers where no coconuts should be. Every clue makes the story wilder, and every dig well. Let's just say Oak Island takes more than it gives. It all started back in 1795, when a group of young men, led by Daniel McGinnis, stumbled across a weird dip in the ground. Right above it, a tree with an old pulley system attached that was all they needed. They started digging, finding layers of logs neatly stacked every 10 feet, not natural. This was on purpose. And just like that, the money pit legend was born. What was buried? Who put it there? More importantly, why did every attempt to reach it end in disaster? Fast forward to 1804, the Onslow Company picks up where McGinnis and his friends left off. They make it down about 90 feet and find a big stone covered in symbols. Sounds promising, right? Too bad the stone vanished. All we have are second-hand claims that it said something like 40 feet below, £2 million are buried. Seems like someone didn't want that message sticking around. The deeper they dug, the more problems they faced: flooding, collapses, and nothing but frustration. Oak Island wasn't going to give up its hidden answers so easily. By the mid-19th century, the Truro Company tries something different. Instead of digging straight down, they drill into the pit. They hit wooden platforms, something soft that could be metal, and this one's weird coconut fibers. In Canada, someone went through the trouble of bringing those fibers from somewhere warm just to use them on this tiny island. Why? And then there's the soft metal, coins. Treasure? Or just another cruel trick from the island? Then Robert Dunfield arrives in 1965 with heavy machinery, determined to beat the island once and for all. He digs a massive hole, wide and deep, finds nothing, and like everyone before him leaves with less than he came with. Then come the 70s and the infamous borehole 10X. The Triton Alliance drills deep, 235 feet deep. What do they find? Underwater cameras catch what looks like chests, tools, and this is the big one: human remains. But the footage is too murky. The hole collapses, the evidence is lost. Another dead and another question swallowed by the island. Now, enter the Legina brothers, the stars of The Curse of Oak Island. They arrive with cameras rolling, high-tech equipment, and a mission to solve the centuries-old problem. And to be fair, they find something. A lead cross in 2016, which might be from medieval Europe. A massive stone row under a swamp, suggesting large-scale construction once took place here. A brooch with a garnet, estimated to be about 500 years old. Even wood from deep underground, hinting at man-made tunnels. Then there's the soil testing that shows high amounts of silver below the money pit. Could that mean treasure? Every dig, every discovery just leads to more digging, more theories, more money spent, and yet, the island refuses to give up the full story. Is it a real treasure hoard, hidden by pirates, the Knights Templar, or some lost civilization? Or is it all just a cruel trick of nature and coincidence, keeping people chasing ghosts? After many failed searches and endless questions, it's clear that finding answers won't be easy. The men who never let go of a story. Rick Legina wasn't born into treasure hunting, but you wouldn't know that from the way his life turned out. He came into the world on January 25, 1952, in Kingsford, Michigan, part of a hardworking family. His younger brother, Marty, followed a few years later, and together they grew up with two sisters in a home where curiosity was never discouraged. But it was Rick who became obsessed with a story he read in Reader's Digest when he was 11, a story that talked about Oak Island and the wild legends surrounding it. Now, most kids would have read that article and moved on. But not Rick. Something about it stuck. Maybe it was the idea of buried treasure. Or maybe it was the unsolved nature of it all. Either way, it stayed in the back of his mind. Even as he went about regular life, he finished school, took a steady job with the Postal Service, and built a routine. But that article, that island, it never really left him. Meanwhile, Marty had a different path in mind. Born on August 26, 1955, he had his sights set on something more practical. He went to Michigan Technological University, got his mechanical engineering degree, and didn't stop there. He decided to add a law degree from the University of Michigan to his resume. While Rick was sorting letters, Monty was climbing the corporate ladder, making moves in the energy business. In the early 80s, he started Terra Energy Ltd., a company that specialized in extracting natural gas from Michigan's shale formations. It was a smart bet. By the time he sold it in 1995 for $58 million, he had the kind of financial security most people only dream about, and that's where things took a turn.